Hey everyone, it's me, Carbundance. Welcome to my 365 days from eating disorder to recovery. This is what I ate in 1 week, 1 year ago, and also screenshots that I took that I am so certain, most certain that they will help you in your recovery, because this can be your recovery year. So I lit a candle, which is, I had to learn that again. I actually, after breakfast, which you saw, which was a very safe food, the oats for me, this was melon and carrots. Like, I can tell you, I would have want like this. These were the first days of my first steps in recovery, and this was more like recovery here, like very dense, an ice cream that I made there. But I would have wanted conventional ice cream there, and also instead of the honeydew and carrots, I would have wanted something else, even though I love and also eat plenty of fruits now. But there, I like real recovery would have been something different there. You see here a very weird picture of my nail. This was something like I had dents all over my fingers, like fingernails, I mean, like these ridges, and horizontally, like not this way but this way, and that was very very telling. But I also had this before I even started recovery, so this is usually a sign of malnutrition. Also, I had these white spots all over my fingernails, which is usually a sign for like some kind of mineral deficiency thing. Not always, but can be very common, and it can be zinc or something else. And usually it's because the hormones and the sex hormones are so low, and all of that your metabolism in general is just out of whack, big time. And these things actually went away for me with real recovery. Here I had bread and Nutella and cheese. I could have done better with the Nutella, but it was a big step for me. Also, this is normal, like not a low-fat cheese, but like normal cheese, full-fat cheese. And this happened to me very often, actually, that I craved something hearty and savory and something sweet, because I guess it's because I just and also not only one type of bun or bread, but like several. I guess it's because I was just restricting these the most before, like the fatty and salty things. Sweet, I always ate. Small steps are also steps. Don't expect too much from yourself. And I just wanted to ponder on that for a second, because yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Small steps are also steps, and that's exactly what you see in my videos. Like exactly what I did 1 year ago to get where I am now. But at the same don't expect too much from yourself. I mean, people with eating disorders, and especially with restrictive eating disorders, are already far too harsh with themselves already, like perfectionism, hello. But at the same time, don't allow yourself to bullshit your own self in recovery, into thinking you're in real recovery but it's only quasi recovery. Like, you have to be brutally honest and really make sure that you're giving your absolute best, while still be giving yourself grace and be gracious with yourself. It doesn't matter how much person XY eats. You are not XY. So don't eat like that person, but as you need it. That's just spot on. That's just so perfectly spot on, because I don't know why, but my restrictive anorexic eating disorder brain really went into comparison so deeply with what other people ate. Well, and actually I do know why, because through Tabitha Farah's books, it's because you know, as migration theory explains, and it just makes perfect sense, it's that you are actually, like, your body thinks it's migrating, you are surviving, you are starving, and so it does matter. Like, there is competition, and it's a matter of who eats the least during the migration. So because those that eat the least and move the most are going to migrate the most likeliest, you know. Again, a fruit bowl. I love this. I am a fruit girl. I am a carb girl. Like, more than any other person that I, in my environment, know. And so I love sweet things, like 90% of the time. And fruit is big love of mine. But in those days, it was not what I craved the most. And that is what I meant also a minute ago by you have to be honest to yourself and not bullshit yourself. It's so vital in real recovery that you are eating what you are craving the most and not replacing it by some healthier version. So me having an ice cream based on bananas is not the same as having the conventional Magnum ice cream pint. That's something I really had to come to terms to, and you know, I was not able to do that at that point here. You also saw this zucchini bowl solely because I thought I need to get in some micronutrients, which is an eating disordered mindset, not trusting my body with its cravings. This is full fat milk and 2 croissants, which used to be a huge fear food of mine. So yeah, and also with butter. It looks like actually, you know, proper butter. Also a latte, like a non-black coffee. These oats look so watery. Guys, if you know my oats from that I have now, when I have them, which I love oats, they are very dense, just like very muffiny, cakey, fudgy, and that's how I like them. This is puffed up and just volumized up with water, because I was just still like, I ate all these fear foods, but I was still so scared, like, how is my body going to react? I cannot possibly trust my body with these things. I feel like I'm addicted to these because the more I eat them, the more I want them. And I knew theoretically that restriction was the reason for that, but I was still like, the fear was so strong that I would get addicted, and that might be true, that I, you know, will be addicted to all of these junk foods and processed foods, that I always thought, well, I just have to really make sure I also include like the healthy stuff still. Cheesecake, conventionally store-bought, you know, doesn't taste as good as self-baked cheesecake, but that was not the time to actually bake myself. And I am someone, like, I admit, and I am not ashamed about it to say it, I am a very lazy one in the kitchen, and that has its reasons, and it's very good reasons, which I stand behind, which is baking and stuff always used to be bound to my eating disorder, actually, in my anorexic days. So spending as little time as possible in the kitchen is what is really good for me. You saw the chocolate there. I seem to have gathered a lot of weight around my tummy. Do you know if this is normal? 100% a part of the healing process. Give your body love for protecting your vital organs. Weight isn't always a bad thing. Your body knows what it's doing in recovery. Trust it. And that is also what happened to me from the start. Like, I just noticed it's more jiggly at the belly. And that has its reasons. And I knew it theoretically also from Tabitha Farah's books. But still, you know, because your brain is still in this restrictive mindset and in this fear-based, fear-responding mindset, that was something that really calmed me down in that moment when I read it. Leaving veganism, gonna start with eggs. I started with eggs too. Great start. I actually cried for a good hour after eating eggs for the first time. My body wanted it so badly and it felt so good to eat. That memory has been for me imprinted in my mind. The first day of true freedom and no more food rules, finally for the first time in years giving my body what it wanted. And it was pretty similar for me. That's why I screenshotted this. Like, I had not actually had an egg there, if I remember right now. Not yet, which will come then in some of the future videos. I craved eggs there. I don't crave them anymore. I did crave them there, and it was not a physical craving for me. It was like a mental craving. It was like that I just gotta break free from this 20 years of prison of restricting myself in all kinds of ways. This is kind of a cheese board. Yeah, and I screenshotted that because that is what I like. When I saw that, I was like, gosh, I want this. Like, I want to be able to eat this, and that is without fear, not like just eat it and then have a bad conscience also. But like, really, that is, I crave cheese big time. And I also went through phases of being afraid that I could be addicted to cheese now because, you know, there's hormones in it, and people say that, you know, they make you be addicted to cheese actually and to dairy. I have not found that to be the case. I am not craving it also anymore. It doesn't mean that I'm not eating it anymore at all, but like, I don't have that mental craving for it that I had there 1 year ago, before I actually started real recovery. But I made my steps towards that, as you can see in my videos here. Yeah, another fruit bowl. I love fruit. I never ate anything, you know, that I did not like. I never forced myself to eat healthy things. I really love whole foods. This is actually, but then at the same time, it was not the right decision in that moment for real recovery. This is a usual purchase, like a usual shopping haul that I had at that time. I went out and went shopping and bought all of the fear foods. This was on a train. Why did I bring salad and spinach and tofu? Like, I guess it's because we were meeting somewhere where I would have a lot of fear foods already or something. You know, tofu on bread, which bread also was actually, you know, I did still challenge stuff, but I could have done so much better. I compared here different kinds of milks with cow's milk. Yeah, you saw them there, and also yogurts and stuff. And because I wanted to find out what I genuinely wanted, what I genuinely liked the most. Also had it in the coffee, and just, you know, I just put together cereal and stuff. I was just so afraid of seeing like the ingredients in Nutella and stuff all of the time. It's just something that scared me so much at that point, which I'm so glad to say it doesn't anymore. And I don't even look at labels anymore. And also I stopped looking at labels when I went into real recovery without all of the quasi bullshit. Watery oats again there, as you can see. A big bowl of watermelon. I love watermelon. And when I'm in the Philippines again, which is going to be hopefully soon, somewhere beginning next year, hopefully, that's just, you know, a tropical fruit paradise. I mean, that's food paradise for me, especially durian. But as I said, not the right choice in that moment in time, because there were things that I was craving so much more and that I was afraid of, and this I was not afraid of. You saw the yeast cake there with poppy seeds, super delicious with butter. Also this kind of pastry thing, cake thing, it's with white chocolate and raspberries. I'm pretty sure Yeah, I know I included it, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, yes, I am sure I included it in one of my videos. I was just not sure if it's on the English channel as well here, but yeah, pretty sure. And it's like, I also eat it now sometimes. It's super yummy. So good. Eggplant with oil and salt from the oven. I actually took that screenshot because I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm just craving, you know, fatty and salty stuff. And I wanted that. I had bread and hummus, which in the hummus you also have oil, which is less scary, or was less scary for me there. It's not scary for me at all anymore. Was less scary there for me than what I screenshotted there, but still very scary. But that's one example of how, watery oats by the way, of how you can not go for the complete opposite of action, right? But only for half of it, and that has to stop if you want real recovery. You know, you see the selfies there. I was feeling happy about all of the steps that I made, but at the same time it was so hard. I took the screenshot from a chat, I don't know, remember which one exactly, which said, recovering from veganism certainly feels like recovering from an eating disorder. And you know, that is of course not the case for everyone by far, but for me it felt like this because unfortunately my decision to go vegan was very entrenched with my eating disorder still, on top of all of the ethical right reasons behind veganism. And in order for me to be vegan again in the future for only the right reasons, and to really just knock out my eating disorder for good for the rest of my life, I really have to get rid of all of the little tiniest pieces that, you know, were left from the eating disorder and set it apart, separate it from veganism. Ice cream, that's something I eat a lot now also, and also I applaud myself that I made it very dense, not water. Well, this looks a bit watery there now. Maybe this was another one. It's just, I should have just eaten the real thing, like the store-bought ice cream, because obviously I was craving ice cream there. I had zucchinis. I love zucchini. These were actually from someone's garden, and also I paired it with a fear food, bread and hummus again. But at the same time, I could have thought of so many scarier things like pizza. Yeah, okay, put zucchini on the top of the pizza, and you know, but also the oil and the cheese and the meat. In my case, in recovery, that would have been the right decision. Like the scariest thing ever. This is like an apple pie. It's not a crumble. It doesn't look like an apple crumble pie, is it? Also something that I was so afraid of. And all of these things, like, it's the best feeling to not have anything that you're afraid of anymore, and to go through life without this fear reaction towards food. Oh, here we go. This is actually a pudding, vanilla pudding crumble, I guess. Yeah. It is common for patients undergoing recovery from eating disorders to have a period of severe acne, and it coincides with something akin to going through puberty yet again, as the body re-establishes its natural sex hormone balance. Compared with healthy women, both anorexia and bulimia patients exhibited increased plasma levels of cortisol, but reduced concentrations of estrogen. Yeah, like sex hormones are low, the stress hormones are high. The above quote reflects that under the duress of restricting energy intake, cortisol is high, androgens are high, and estrogens are low. That will create a predisposition for the presence of acne. And I did experience acne in my recovery, more than in my restriction phase actually. And then of course it's easy to say and to think, well, it's because you're eating unhealthy or too much or whatever, but that is not the case. Without me changing anything about that, it also went away. Like with my period coming back, I can share with you guys that, you know, everything, it just, my skin got clear again, and it had nothing to do with the foods that I ate. Yes, I hope this video helped. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and connect with me in the comments. I'm very glad to connect with you guys, and I'll see you next video. Bye.